Alrighty, hello everyone that may be watching this. This is my official Overwatch 2 review. As if you were watching the Spotlight last Wednesday or heard any news about it since, they are taking the 2 out of Overwatch. All jokes aside of this being a poor sequel. As I feel I am experienced enough with this game to give a full review on it. I've kept up with this since 2018 and all of its updates. I have a passion for this game and I want it to do good. I can realize the highs and the lows like some others can't. I'm not someone that'll just tell you Marvel Rivals sucks and this game is so much better. I am able to realize where they went wrong and parts that I like. And I am deciding to go into three different categories for this review here. I am deciding to go into one, heroes being their character designs, personalities, and the kits, and how fun they are to play and play against. Secondly, how fun the game is at its states, like throughout the entire game, because that's why we're here. We're here to have fun. That's why we're playing the game. And lastly, cosmetic-wise, how is the game been holding up since it went free to play? These are all things that I feel like I need to cover, as they're kind of controversial things altogether, brought by Overwatch 2. And yeah, I say we just get started because I can only film up to 60 minutes on PlayStation. So, starting off, the heroes. I'm going to bring myself in the practice range and we're going to go over every single hero that they have brought in since Overwatch 2's release. Stadium I'll have to go over too, fuck. I forgot about that. But, nonetheless, we're going all over these heroes. Going over all these heroes, not counting Anran, because Anran is coming out next season. This is just a trial for her. I will not be talking about her this video. I will probably do a review sometime next season talking about all the content, though. So be ready for that. But, Overwatch 2 heroes. Starting off with Sojourn. Now, as much as I would love to start off with a positive start to this video, I am not a big fan of Sojourn. I think Sojourn is, hot take, the worst designed Overwatch hero ever. And some of you may give that to Maga, but I think Maga has been balanced out well since his release. As Sojourn has not. I feel like they ignore this character and its problems, and I think this character is maybe fun to play for some people, but playing against this character is, in my opinion, the least fun experience in the entirety of Overwatch 2. The only thing I would really compare it to is maybe a Pocketed Ash, on the scale of, unfun. Being that this character's whole thing is, you just shoot this tank until you have enough for your railgun, they're almost dead, and if you got a pocket or any sort of damage boost in a way, Discord Orb, they take more damage, and it's just not fun. And she has a perk right now where she one-shots and ult. And it's like, people will say, Widowmaker, that's a problem, but I think Sojourn's much more of a problem than Widowmaker, because, as for Widowmaker, she doesn't have a whole lot of utility once you're actually up in her face. For Sojourn, it's like Widowmaker, but with the ability, the mobility of, a cheetah. And I am not a fan of it at all. I think this character is not, it goes against what this game stands for in some ways for me, and I know Sojourn as a character in the lore is fine, and I do like some of the parts that we've known about her. I really like her cinematic, actually. So I can't say Sojourn is all bad, but in a gameplay format, I will not say this character is good. I think this is the worst character they've ever added, and I will stand by that. Um, and you know, don't be wrong, like Goat's Brig was bad, but I'm talking about characters that have stayed bad, and they've solved stuff like Brig or release Maga, so I can't really put them in the category for that. Um, and you know, going in here as well. Let's swap off so I can go to her default design, because I obviously also talk about character design. I don't think hers is anything crazy. I think we've had better designs in the past and better designs since her release. And I'm just, after a while, you kind of get sick of the whole futuristic look. And I know the game takes time in the future, so I can't really say stuff like that. But I feel like, you know, certain characters still look past that. Look at Vendetta, for example, you know, a literal gladiator, not taking too much of a jab at the futuristicness other than the sword. You know, still using the times to her advantage, but it's not what the design is based off of. And I find her as a character in some ways is kind of bland, if you want me to be honest. I don't love her character. I don't hate her character personality wise. So that is my take on Sojourn as a character. Then we have Junker Queen. Junker Queen is quite the opposite for me. I think Junker Queen is an amazingly designed character. This is what I recommend people, or one of the recommendations I have for people moving from DPS over to tank. This character gives you the freedom to kind of do what you want a lot of the time, and I think that's amazing for tank a lot of the time. I feel like it does what this guy right here, Roadhog, has tried to do in the past, where you can do what you want and still have the ability to help your team, you know, because the most Roadhog's doing is being a fat ass and body block, and that's the most he's doing. As Queen, you know, with the yell and the ult, she has a lot more freedom to not only do stuff for herself and get value, but she has a lot of value for her team, and I think she's always been a really fun character in the meta for me, and I think her perks as well have been built around pretty well. I like them. The Jagged Blade one, when I miss it, even, and I recall it, it immediately does 30 base damage, you know, it's really been a fun thing to play around with Queen. I think she's been one of the best designed characters since release. And they, no, I feel like they know what they're doing with Queen. I feel like it'd be hard to mess her up at this point. Now for the character design, let me go get the defaults. I need to switch to it primarily next time before I choose them. But for the character design herself, you know, do the emote, please. I think as a character design, hers is done perfectly, and it resembles the Queen of the Queen of Junkertown. I can't speak for it. But it, you know, amazing character design, and I love the personality. It's amazing. She, you know, takes the goofiness of Roadhog and Junkrat's characters and just takes it up a notch into being more powerful and on another level, and I love that personally. I think Junker Queen is an amazingly built character. Now, possibly the most controversial character in the entirety of Overwatch 2, Kiriko. Now, I have a lot to talk about with this character personally, because one, her in the meta, in my opinion, is cancerous. I hate how this character has always been meta. I hate how she's always good. And I don't really know if they can fix that, because they kind of cursed themselves with giving her that. That cleanse is kind of why she's so good, because guess who else has also been good for the entire Overwatch 2? Ana. And with Ana is meta, Kiriko's also going to be meta, because that's your only really way to stop anti-nade. Okay, I've been talking a lot. I need a sip of water. Sorry about that. And not only that, she has, in my opinion, the best support ult in the game with Kitsune Rush that makes you fire quickly, It makes you heal faster as Kiriko, and it makes everyone in it do the same thing, and yours and your teammates' cooldowns go down quicker, which is just insane, because it also helps your team get ults quicker, and I hate it, personally. But on another level, I don't think she's that terribly unfun to play against or play as a lot of the time. As I think she's been balanced in some ways since her release, and I do think she's actually a very fun character to play. So I cannot complain on that level. But I also will say I like her design. I think it's fine. You know, people like it too. They keep buying skins for her. She has done a lot of bad and good, in my opinion, for Overwatch 2 and its state. But I don't think I hate her as much as others, but I think she is on a yeah, she's like a bit in between for me, personally. I definitely don't hate her as much as others. Personality-wise, I also don't think she's as bad as people make her out to be. I think at the start of Overwatch 2, she was seen as a bit more bratty and stuff like that, but I think her voice actor as went on, like, she's gotten less annoying to hear. And, you know, I like her character a bit more from then onward. Then after Season 1, we got the another tank in Season 2 of Overwatch 2. We got Ramatra. One of, in my opinion, the best designed characters in Overwatch 2. Or in Overwatch entirely, as this character was very hyped up to. We knew about Ramatra's face for so long now. At the end of that one archive event I can't remember the name of, we have seen this guy's face for a while now. We've seen those red dots on his forehead. We knew who this guy was, so he was immediately likable for that reason. And when I personally look at this guy, I have to ask people what isn't there to love about Ramatra, because he has a fun gameplay style. He has two movesets, basically, to work around, being there is a poke and a brawl rush format to him, and an ult that is just, it endorses that rush format even more, and you just kill everything in your path. And I think he is one of the funnest characters that they have ever brought to this game. And his voice actor does a great job with him. The character is very intriguing. His lore with, like, Zenyatta being his brother and shit like that, very intriguing. And character design wise, he looks fucking sick. How can you not love this character at all? Personally, I think Ramatra is an amazingly built character, one of my favorite characters in Overwatch 2, and one of my favorite characters Overwatch has ever brought to the field. Then, in Season 4, we were presented to Lifeweaver, another very controversial character, to say the least, as he has not really been good ever since his release, which is unfortunate, because I do love Lifeweaver. I think he's actually really cool. I like his character design a lot. I think it's cool. I think it resembles him as a person. And he, you know, I have a bias because he's pansexual, and I am also pansexual. So, you know, I see him, you know, I myself and him slightly. And that is one thing I will also say, a small little interruption. This game does have the LGBTQ involvement. Like, it has involvement of the community a lot in the game, and I am very respectful of that personally. But going back to Lifeweaver, his design is great. I love his personality a lot, as he can sometimes be a bit sarcastic, like there's some voice lines and stuff like that, and his interactions with characters. And I actually do think he's really cool with everything his character has to bring to the table. Character design wise, he's really fun. The ability to just, you know, tell your teammate, hey, get over here, you know, it's really fun. And, you know, personally, if you ask me, I do think he should get more buffs than he gets. But I will say they have fixed him on some levels, as he is more like, I think you can make him work nowadays more often than not, because like compared to some characters like Moira, where the skill ceiling can only go so high. With Weaver, I feel like a good Weaver can still make some people be like, whoa, that character can do that stuff, you know, because you don't see him very often, and it's like, you know, don't get me wrong, there's only so much he can do still to help his team, but I feel like he, at a level, does still perform well if you're good with him. Other than, you know, compared to some other characters where they can't really go past the skill ceiling that they're kind of cursed with, like Moira or something like that, because it's very hard to do anything with Moira once you get to a certain level, if we're being honest. Weaver, for me, other than the fact that he is not balanced well and doesn't get a good spot in the meta, I think he is a great character aside from that. Then we would have Alari, if I remember correctly, which was another support right after, which was a nice thing to see, because they were not just giving us DPS like they kind of did sometimes in Overwatch 1. They just kept getting more DPS on top of the DPS we already had. You know, the start of Overwatch 2 presented us with a lot more support than tanks, as Alari was the third support we got in Overwatch 2, and she brought a lot of unique stuff to the table, the same as Lifeweaver, as she put down a pylon through some of the work for her, as you would have to strategize and think about where you want to put it, say behind a wall or something like that, and you still have the option to heal people normally with your little beam here, and you also have your utility for hitting people away like that, or you can, you know, use to go up or something like that. With Alari, you know, she has the survivability, and she has the primary fire. That's very unique. You can't just sit here and spam it. Well, you can, but it's not going to be useful. If you do this, you know, you're getting more damage. And yeah, really a new character in my eyes. I think she's cool. Though I don't think she will be fun for everyone. I think, you know, certain people will find the character fun. And that's about it. If you ask me, I think some people will find her boring. She's not my favorite, but, you know, I do like her. I do think she, isn't fundamentally the most fun character to play, and I think the pylon can be slightly annoying to play against in some ways, so I don't think in a, you know, format of playing against her she's that bad, but in some ways not the funnest character, so I can't say that, you know, I love playing against her or playing as her compared to some of the other characters, but as a character, I forgot to put on her fucking default again. Shut up, Brig. Default design is really nice. I really like it. It's really cool. Really interesting. You don't really see a design like this. I think she's the only one that has a design like this. The gun as well. Can we talk about how cool this fucking gun looks? It looks amazing, and she looks so cool in her ult form, in my opinion. And as a character, I love her interactions with people, and her voice actor does a great job with her character and understanding her. And her story, I wish they went more in depth with her story, and we got more characters that maybe, you know, that were involved with Alari and stuff like that. But, like, let alone, her story is amazing, and they did her character amazingly, and I think she is very likable, if you ask me. Next up, another very controversial character, and you'll hear me say that word a lot because people, like to complain. Being myself at the time when this character came out, I complained a lot about Maga. I won't lie. Maga, I mean, he is a setup for failure when he first dropped. He had a button where when you press it, whatever damage you do heals you, you know, and this used to be able to heal through a matrix turreted bastion, if I remember correctly. Maybe even a nano boosted bastion, which is nuts. So, you know, I'm happy it's been toned down since then. But I also have something crazy to say. I think Maga is one of the best um states of a character in the game right now. I think Maga is actually really fun to play when you get used to him. As you know, just be able to like go off high ground, charge down, do shit like this. Like, it is a really fun character to mess around with. And I think he's not hard to play against anymore because he isn't in a crazy good state right now, and if you're having a hard time playing against him, I kid you not, go D.Va, bro. D.Va is so good right now. She's been nerfed, and she's still good. Sorry to clear my throat. But D.Va is amazing right now. D.Va is the biggest counter to Maga, and I guarantee it is not hard to play against him. It is not hard once you get used to it. So, please... I know Maga can be scary, but do not judge him too much right now. I think looking past the trauma that we've went through, he is a good designed character in the current state of the game. Now, as a character as well, I think his design is really cool. I really like it, and it really just shows a big man, you know? He is a very big man, and you can tell he is definitely on some shit, you know? He is on the roids. And I personally love that. I think he looks sick. I think this is what a tank should look like. And I love how he can be, like, loud, but also, like, kind of quiet, deep voice, menacing sounding, and I think that's really cool. And he can also be funny. He's a funny character, you know. I feel like the devs lean into that a bit with certain like emotes like this, you know, where like, oh, well, I know other characters got this emote, but you know, Maga getting an emote like this is not what you'd expect, and I feel like it's funny. You know, it's funny that you get a emote like this for Maga, and especially the way he is doing it is really funnier. You know, certain sprays or voice lines make him a funny character, and I think that is very good. A good thing to lean into with his character. He is funny, and I love that about him personally. I love Maga. I know that may sound crazy, and I know it's not popular, but I love Maga. Now, the first DPS hero of the batch we got in Overwatch 2, or I guess we got Sojourner. I grabbed that Sojourner was like practically the first one, but I don't care about her, okay? Venture is cool. I love Venture. I think they are design-wise an amazing character. I love how this where this kind of started, that the voice actors were very they were keeping they were part of the community a lot more. I can't speak, but like they were in touch with the community a lot more, and we got to hear more about the voice actors. You'd see clips back when Venture first dropped of the voice actor playing with people like Boger and shit like that. And I really like that. I think the voice actors being in touch with certain content creators and the community itself is really cool. Wait to hear more from the voices that had to make some of our favorite characters, and I love that. And gameplay wise, I think this character is amazing. This is what a dive character should feel like, and they aren't broken in any format, in my opinion. They're just, you know, a character that is very well designed, and I think, you know, they're old. It's really fun to use. And they're just a great character. You get value for playing good. This is one of the best characters to play in one of the best feeling characters to play, in my opinion, and they're not too bad to play against. I don't know how I actually don't really know how the community takes in this character. A lot of the time when I hear people talk about it, it's just they just sound very transphobic. But other than that, I don't really know how people think about this character gameplay wise. But I love them, and I think that Venture was a really cool addition to the game, and I think their character design and them as a character, I really like them. I think they can be funny, and you know, the interactions are funny with some people, and I think their design is cool and a different look for a character in Overwatch. I feel like this is a character I could have seen in Overwatch 1, actually. If you want me to be honest, I think the design is something I could have seen in Overwatch 1, and that's what I like. More staying true to their form. And in Season 12, we got Juno. right? If I remember correctly. Another very popular character. But, you know, unlike Kiriko, this character was not insanely broken other than her. I won't lie, Orbital Ray was broken when it dropped. Her ult was really good. But, other than that, Juno has been decently balanced in my opinion, and I have liked her. I think she is a very fun character to play, and her personality is very likable and cute, and I like it. I think as a support, she is one of the characters that really got me into playing support, actually, as, I don't know. I like her as a character. I like how she's very confused half the time because as she is a Martian, she doesn't understand a lot of stuff with humans and whatnot. And I love how that makes for really funny interactions with some people. And she's just kind of silly, and I like that. And I forgot to go to her fucking default design. I swear I'm gonna stop messing it up someday. But for her default design, I think they also did really well, portraying someone from space. And they also got their money out of the character. I can tell you right now, they definitely did well with this character and making it so that they would be able to get money out of them. And I think this is where one of those characters that's just very likable. They did good with this character, and I don't know, I don't see really why you would hate this character. Juno is unhateable, if you ask me. If that's even a word. Then with Season 14, we got Hazard. Hazard is a character. That is the best way I can put it. Very forgettable to some people, but I love him. Believe it or not, I actually think Hazard is a really fun character. And it's that his voice actor, as you hear him right now, he's possibly my favorite voice actor in Overwatch. Connor Lloyd is like I think you said his name right. Connor, I'll just call him. But Connor is such a funny guy. He's very he connected to the community. He plays Overwatch a lot, actually. And I love that. You'll just get one of, if you follow him on TikTok every now and then, you'll just get like a random video every now and then of him teabagging people, and it's just so funny, you know? He's such a funny person, and he fits Hazard. Hazard's a funny person, and like that's what's also crazy is like he sounds so cool sometimes. Like when he gets nano boosted, he's just yelling like a fucking madman. Like you cannot tell me this man does not take drugs, and I love it. I think character design wise, not the best. I won't lie. There's been better, but I still like it. I think he's stupid. That's why I like it. I think it's stupid. And I know people will, once like I said, very forgettable character to some, but I like Hazard a lot, and I think he's fun to play actually as a dive tank. And you can get out of there. Or I should say he's fun when the meta is not block swap, and I'm so happy they nerfed this move kind of, and it's not really just what you do to win now. Yeah, I think that's everything I went over for Hazard. I'm trying to go a little bit quicker so we can go to the other topics, because I've spent almost half an hour doing this already. But for Season 16, we had Freya. Freya, gameplay-wise, very simple, you know, but fun. Sometimes can be annoying to play against, but still a very fun character at the end of the day, for me at least. And I think if you like this type of character, you'll find enjoyment with Freya, and I think she is a likable character design as well. I swear I will remember to do this at some point. Oh my fucking god, I'm stupid. But as a character, I also think she looks cool. Hot take. I know, like, it's not everyone's a fan of her, but I think it's nice. I like the way she looks. I think it's cool. Man, I think she gets some of the best skins in the game, actually, if you ask me. I think she gets a lot of really good skins. And I think her voice actor does a great job. And if we're being honest, if Freya didn't happen, I think the Overwatch lore would be very stale still. And this is where the good lore started, in my opinion, for Overwatch. And I'm happy that it's where it is at now because of Freya. And this character to me is likable. Then we had Wu Yang. Wu Yang is so cool. He's a little waterbender. I need to take off Joker persona.
Our minds are shackled.
I
Submission is the
Shut up, Moira. You know, he's very simple design-wise, but, like, I like him. I think he's cool, and, you know, half it could be also because I think he's hot, but who cares? Realistically. If y'all are if some of y'all are the people that will complain about this game adding, you know, only conventionally attractive characters, okay? I'm just saying, look at Hazard and tell me again. That's all I will say. But he's very just fun, you know, easy to understand character in my opinion, and I think really fun to learn as well, because I'm nowhere close to being good with this character, but he's really fun to play as he brings us new abilities to the table where he can just move what he's shooting. You know, he can swerve it around corners, just like that, do what no one else has been able to do before, which is really interesting. And, like, if you get good enough with that, bro, man, you are... The skill ceiling is only... It just keeps going up with this character, in my opinion. And the ult is very, versatile. You can just put it on anyone or yourself, and, you know, it'll do its thing, fully heal them after it's done. Or not fully, but, you know, nearly fully a lot of the time. Especially if you're using some of your other abilities on top of that, it'll nearly heal them most of the time. And yeah, just a fun character, and I love his voice actor too, and his character, and some of his interactions with Anran and shit like that. Since her trial, it's been out. Like I've heard some of the and like the short with her. I really like it. I like it a lot. I think he's sometimes cocky, sometimes funny, and his story's not terrible if you ask me. I think he's simple. I like him. One of the best characters fundamentally. And then the most recent character, not counting Anran's hero trial, would be Vendetta, the first Italian character in Overwatch. Really just interesting in some ways. We've not had a fully melee DPS since 2017 Doomfist. So this was a nice refresher and a new look at dive as a whole. As don't get me wrong, she had to be nerfed. She was really good at scrum, but I think if you are into playing dive characters, like say one of my friends is big into playing dive, you will find love with this character and playing them, as they are they're just a very fun character, and you know, you just get that momentum and you just can't stop, really. And I think this character is really addicting to just keep playing over and over and over again. And as a character, she's already done a lot in the lore. Some people are calling her an industry plant, but I say, fuck, if she's going to be an industry plant and the lore, that means the lore is going to keep going, you know, fuck, keep it up, you know. I think she's a amazingly designed character. I think her design is cool. I'm not going to care to go to the default because it's just a recolor already anyway. I don't have any more for her apparently other than pineapple pizza. But, yeah, great character, in my opinion. Amazing. Anyway, that part was way too long. That has been like half the video. Now, I can go on a bit of a rant and a little bit of a not rant in some ways about how fun the game has been as a whole. Overwatch has been in several different states over the years of since Overwatch 2. And some are not the funnest, if we're being real. Everything was a little bit new and flashy when it first dropped, so when some of the new characters came out and we were like excited, we didn't really realize how bad it was back then. But that meta when it first dropped in Zarya was crazy, terrible. And like rock paper scissors meta, terrible. And like that really started a big thing where people were getting really mad at counters and stuff like that. And I got used to counters being a thing, honestly. It's not something I mind anymore, but it is something to point out. And I think if there was some work around it in the future, I would not mind it. And I think, you know, for fun, how fun it's been, there's been states where the game is really fun, and the content creators around it bring a lot to the table. Like, say, your Froggers or your yeah, like I said, the Hazard voice actor is, a content creator, and he streams and stuff like that, and it's really cool. Um, or like, there's some rising creators in like the last year or so that you might have heard of, like that Frankie P guy I get on my TikTok a lot. He makes a lot of good content I really like. There's like Aspen stuff like that. Uh, I think I don't. Does Super still make content in this game? I don't know. I know he's making stuff by Stadium when that first came out, but like still great content around for this game. There is states where it's been unfun. Don't get me wrong. Like I think the later um, single digit seasons were not the best, as Hazard or Maga Starry was a problem. Nonetheless, it was getting stale, and then they did the health pool changes, and it got funner from there, in my opinion, for the most part. And just characters got more interesting going into the double digit seasons as well. As we got characters like Juno, Freya, Yang, stuff like that. I enjoyed them a lot more than some of the starter, the single digit seasons characters that they brought in. And I will say, though, a big thing to take in was season 14 Hazard's release. I think that season is the one I cannot actually say a lot about, as I know Hazard, from what I heard from a lot of people, was terrible to play against when he first came out. And I don't know, actually, because that's the one season I really wasn't into the game, because that's when Marvel Rivals got big, and I was into that for the most part. And that's when a lot of people were over there, so I can't really speak for that season too much for the most part. But, when Freya came back around and shit like that, I was playing, and from there on, I enjoyed the game a lot for the most part. So, on a fun standard for Overwatch 2, I would give it like, a good 6 out of 10. I think this game has been fun, but there's been funner, and I'm able to realize that it's had its lows. And finally, cosmetic wise, how does this game provide us cosmetically? That's something all hero shooters do, because they are free to play hero shooters, such to say. Most of them do, and it's something that needs to be there. So I talk about it. We get new stuff in the shop like every few weeks, and new stuff to spend your money on and shit like that. And obviously, there is sadly a notable repeating characters like Kiriko or Juno or Mercy that they get their money off of, and people always complain about them. And don't get me wrong, I also am not crazy for the repeat in characters. I can't say I'm shocked. Those characters bring in the big bucks. People keep buying them, so why would they really stop? Um, yeah, that's the only reason I'm not shocked about that. But I think cosmetically, they give us good stuff in the shop decently. Sometimes it's not terribly priced. Sometimes these bundles can be worth a lot, but I say personally, there's a lot of games where they're probably like make you pay a lot more for this stuff, is the way I look at it. And I think we have it decently well over here. And don't get me wrong, the mythic prisms are very overpriced, but it could be worse once again when I'm looking at it, because like you have the choice not to buy mythic prisms and still get stuff like this. You could either buy a mythic for the fully upgraded version. You buy a 50 and a 30, being like in Canadian close to like how much would that be? Like $60 probably. Um, it'd be a lot of money for one skin or one weapon skin, whatnot. But you don't have to do that. You can just get a battle pass and for like $15, and there you go. That's your, uh, you know, you buy this, you get it, you get a mythic by the end of it if you play. So there's other options than just buying mythic prisms because I don't feel like many people actually do that. And for outside the shop, a lot of events give us like free stuff. I think earlier on in Overwatch's career, or Overwatch 2's state, actually, they were giving us a lot better free designs as they were giving us with some events. I remember the winter event. It might have been 2023. Maybe it'll tell me if I look at like the Widow one. But if I go down, I should see it. Winter Chic, yeah. No, it won't tell me what year. Whatever Comfy Games Challenge was. This event gave us this skin, a Cassidy one, and maybe another one. I honestly don't remember. But uh, you know, really good skin, honestly. I really like that Widow one, and the Castle one was okay. And it was free. Legendary skins for free. You can't complain about that, right? So they used to give us stuff like that, or like so for the One Punch Man event, the first ever event collab, really. We got the Movement Rider skin, wherever that is. There it is, yeah. Movement Rider as Soldier 76 for free, legendary skin, which is cool. Or for the Avatar event, we got the Katara skin for free from a purple skin for free. It was nice. We get skins a lot for free, and with some of these events now, it feels where instead of making new skins for us to get, they usually end up just giving us loot boxes, which I feel is a little bit of a way out of making new stuff to us for free. I feel like I know the loot boxes themselves are giving stuff for free, but I feel like making just some new content every now and then and giving to us for free right away, I would not mind it. I appreciated it a little bit. It felt like it gave me a reason to play some of these new game modes that they put in the events and stuff like that. Like say I the prop hunt and stuff like that, or if they, if it was just loot boxes, I have less of a reason to want to play it, as I know I'm like guaranteed something good if I play an event that's going to give me a free skin. Yeah, and I think that's mainly what I can say about cosmetics, but for the most part, it's not been terrible. Battle passes give us enough content, and for me personally. And mythics are controversial. I think I don't mind them. Some people don't like them. I think that can go either way. But yeah, I think cosmetic wise, it's been fine. Not terrible. Could be better. But as an entire Overwatch 2 review, I started going a bit quickly there because I didn't want it to run out of time. But I think it's fine. I think Overwatch 2 has been, a learning journey for Aaron Keller and the team and everyone behind it. And I respect the team for listening to what we talk about and shit like that. And I know people are not exactly happy with Anran's design, or not exactly her design, but her face. Mainly, people are pointing out that the face does not look anything like her design in the short with Wu Yang and whatnot. And if you look here, honestly, you could say that Wu Yang looks older than her, and she's meant to be the older sister, the stern older sister. That's always telling Wu Yang, hey, be responsible, shit like that. Normal shit. So seeing Wu Yang honestly look a bit older than her is honestly weird, because that's just it's reversed. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. People are talking about that a lot. So if you ask me, I think they're listening to most likely, and will end up probably changing her face, if I were to be honest. But yeah, I respect to everyone at the Overwatch team right now. I think as much as this game has its highs and its lows, I think this is one of the best states Overwatch has ever been in. In some ways, I've been having a lot of fun the last few days. waiting for the new stuff to come out, and you know, all this new content's going to come out soon, and it's going to be amazing. We get 10 whole heroes this year, 10 new heroes. That's crazy to hear. I've never really. That's a new level for Overwatch, and I couldn't be more happy for it and its team and how far they've come. So, yeah, I think that's all I can really say. Hope this video didn't drag on too long and you didn't get bored. So if you made it to the end, thank you. And maybe consider subscribing if you want to see more of this stuff every now and then, because I sometimes make stuff like this, but I'm also sometimes too lazy to actually go ahead with my ideas, and I don't upload for months. A lot of the time I also post like just stupid clip dumps with my friends and stuff like that, where I play games with them and stuff like that and do stupid stuff. So stay around for more stuff like that or more stuff like this, as I have a few videos where I do this and talk about stuff. So yeah, I think that's all I can say, and yeah, stay tuned for more. Bye.